Okay, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Bakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutation you, I came out there that puts this word in truth and in sincerity. And we're going to get into chariots, watching the events take place during the time, two times in history it happened. During the time of the Greek Empire, when I think it was Antiochus Epiphanes was attacking Jerusalem, and also during the time of the siege of Jerusalem during the time of 70 AD. So we got a few scriptures. Abarat Akimatu will be edified, so we're gonna get straight into it. It's not gonna be a long lesson, but Abarat I can be edified. Yeah, bro.
This is the book of Zechariah chapter 5 verse 2.
Oh shit. Yeah, bro.
Zechariah 5 verse 2. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
Yeah, bro. Read it again.
Zechariah chapter 5 verse 2. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll.
And that flying roll, back in the ancient world, there was nothing flying in the air, man. You know, the only way you can be attacked is by land and sea. There was no air power, so therefore there was nothing shouldn't be seen in the air. But Zechariah saw a flying roll, which represent a chariot of the Most High. But in Esau's terminology, he called a UFO, or unidentified aerial phenomenon. That's a new terminology that Esau likes to bring out. But ultimately, that was a UFO, a so-called UFO, a chariot of the Lord, if you will. Yeah, bro.
And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Showing,
the denominator, how big it was, how wide it was. That's he was describing. But that was the chariot. But you gotta understand this too. Them chariots could make themselves small, make themselves big. They could hide themselves. They could reappear. That's the wonders of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man, and this military might. Because Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah has a military might as well as Esau. But Esau's military is not mighty than the Most High. That's why Yahweh is called the King of Kings. Yahweh Shah is called the King of Kings. And Yahweh is called the King of the universe. You can't fight against the Lord. Yeah, bro.
Then he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it.
And that curse is the curse that's gonna befall the 2/3 Esau and the rest of the nation, man. When Yahweh Shah cracked them skies, bringing death, destruction, and deliverance, man. For everyone that stealeth, did not Esau steal this land? Esau being the so-called man, steal this land from the Native Americans? Do not Esau go about the four corners of the earth pillaging, taking natural resources, conquering the nation, making an excuse to go into that nation to take their national resources? Do not Esau do that? He's a thief, a common thief. He's a liar, a murderer, and a thief. He's a traveler. He's a vagabond, a traveler that goes throughout the four corners of the earth, taking resources from the different nations, man. Read. Or should I say stealing resources from these different nations, man? Yeah, bro.
For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it.
For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on this side according to it. I'm saying according to, what the Lord is bringing out, man. The Lord says with the commandments, man. Yeah, bring it.
Shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that swear it shall be cut off as on that side according to it.
Esau loved to swear in this court system. He makes you put your hand on the Bible and swear on the Bible. But Esau himself don't judge you according to the penal codes of the Bible. He judge you according to the Bible. He judges you toward his own penal codes in his justice system, which is all bullshit. See, his devil got a lot to pay for, man. And it's not the only time yet. So during the time of Zechariah, Zephaniah, Reverend Slaki, he was that's Zechariah, right? Or Zephaniah? Zechariah, he was saying he saw a chariot, and the angel asked the Lord asked him, what seest thou? And he said he see a chariot, Yeah, they fixed the street. Wow. It was a big power. He saw a chariot, you know what I mean? And he described the chariot. Okay, bro.
I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house,
Which Esau house? America, man. Esau house, the modern day house of Esau is America, which is Boswell, man. So you better believe them chariots. And that's why you see what's going on in Ukraine. What's going on in Ukraine with these, you see a lot of chariot sightings, man. Why? Because the eyes of the Most High is upon this sinful kingdom, which is Esau's kingdom, man. You know, the Lord has his eyes upon this kingdom to destroy from the foundation from thereof, man. And it's going to be destroyed, whether you realize that or not, man. Yeah, bro.
And I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof.
And that's going to be the thermonuclear destruction, man. The concentrated fire with them chariots, you know, when Yahweh shall crack them skies with them chariots, but Yahweh shall and the angels, man. You know, that's going to be a horrific time, man. And that's going to be judgment upon 2/3 of the nation of Israel, Esau, the so-called white man, and the rest of the nations, man. To punish them from all the iniquity and all the wickedness they have done against the sons of Israel, man. It's a payment it's a judgment for everything, man. You gotta pay, you know. So you could go ahead to the next one.
This is look at 2 Maccabees chapter 5 verse 1.
And this is the account that happened during the time when Jerusalem was being, you know, when the Maccabees was, you know, which was the Hasmonean dynasty, they was going up against Antiochus Epiphanes and his army, man. And during the space of 40 days, I believe, you know, we're gonna get this one, bro. Bring it out, man.
About the same time, Antiochus prepared a second voyage into Egypt. And then it happened that to all the city for the space almost of 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air in cloth of gold and armed with lances like a band of soldiers.
And that was some chariots, man. It wasn't a, read it again, bro, so we could bring it out perfectly properly, you know what I'm saying? Because that was, I put on the AC.
So let's look at 2 Maccabees chapter 5 verse 1. About the same time, Antiochus prepared a second voyage into Egypt. And then it happened that through all the city for the space of 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air in cloth of gold and armed with lances like a band of soldiers.
That was them chariots, man. They was doing war games, you know, practicing war games and manifesting themselves to Esau, man, and showing that the powers that be with the Hasmonean dynasty, which are the Maccabees, you know, is more powerful than what they had, man. So the Lord had them angels reveal themselves in them chariots, man, and put fear on people, because they was like, okay, even the Maccabees was afraid at that time. You can finish reading again, bro.
God. And troops of horsemen in array, encountering and running one against another with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes.
It wasn't horses in the air, man. That's a metaphor for them chariots, man. And horses represent power. So they saw the power of them angels, the power of Yahweh Yahweh, man. You know? And everybody saw it. The Maccabees, which is the Hasmonean dynasty, and the forces of Antiochus, man. That wicked demon. You know? He saw it. Yeah, bro, finish reading.
And troops of horsemen
doing war games in the air, if you will. Modern day, it's war games in the air, if you will. You know, doing war games, you know, and practicing, shooting forth their thing, you know, lasers, and, you know, doing that, you know, showing forth their power, man. And in modern day time, they do the same thing. When they do war games, you know, different nations get together and they start shooting off missiles in the sea. That's war games, man. To show forth their power. Yeah, bro. So that's what the angels was doing, showing forth their power, man. Manifesting themselves, man. And men at that time was afraid, because that's like a strange apparition there, man. Who the hell, there's nothing flying in the air back in the ancient world. Yeah, bro.
And troops of horsemen in array, encountering and running one against another
practicing. And you could tell the technology back then is the same technology now. The Most High don't change. They doing all kind of crazy, shooting lasers and all kind of stuff, man. Yeah, bro.
And troops of horsemen are encountering and running one against another with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes and drawing of swords and casting of darts and glittering of golden ornaments and harness of all sorts. Wherefore every man prayed that the apparition might turn to good.
And that's with the Maccabees. They was praying that apparition they saw may turn out to be good, and to show that, you know, hey, and then the forces. That was just a metaphor of showing that the forces of Esau, which was started by the behest of Antiochus, was nothing in comparison to what they saw in the sky, man. And that apparition was turned out to be on the angels that was manifesting themselves to show that the Maccabees wasn't by themselves, man. The armies of Judas Maccabee wasn't by himself, man. Yeah, bro. This morning?
No, I think that was it.
Right, so go to the next one. If you got any precepts too, bring them out too, bro. I just had three main precepts to bring up, but if you guys say to chime in or you can do the same, you can do as well, man. You know?
2 Maccabees
3:24.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 24. Now as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits and Prince of all power caused a great apparition.
See, now you gotta understand this. Esau was a thief. So what Esau was doing, then in both times Esau plundered the treasury, which is the temple. Where the goodly golden vessels dedicated to the Most High was there. So Esau plundered that twice and robbed it twice. How do you think they got the money to build that during the time of 70 AD after the sack of Jerusalem? How do you think they got the money to build that Colosseum? More the gold and silver that was within the treasury of Israel, man. And that's how they was able to finance that Colosseum. And the modern day stadium, you see like Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, which was once called Shea Stadium, and all the rest of these, the Barclays Center, all those are Colosseums, man. Modern day Colosseums, you know. And there's nothing new under the sun. And commemorating with the first Colosseum that was built, and it was called a Colosseum. Yeah, bro.
Now as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits and Prince of all power caused a great apparition, so that all that presumed to come in.
We hear that, the Lord of spirits. Now we know that the Lord is the Father of spirits, man. The Lord of spirits caused a great apparition, man. Okay, bro. That's how powerful Yahweh Shai is, man. Caused a great apparition, man, to put fear in men. Yeah, bro.
Caused a great apparition, so that all presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of the Most High and fainted and were so afraid.
And fainted and was so afraid. You have men fainting, some having heart attacks, passing out, because that great apparition, man, that they saw, man. And the apparition is nothing but a spirit, man, manifesting himself, you know. And people, they don't understand that, and they get so afraid and they pass out, or their heart fail them, which is a heart attack, and they had died, man. You know? So great fear fell upon the people that saw that apparition. Yeah, bro.
For there appeared unto them a horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering.
Hey, because you know, some of these angels, they look terrible, man. They have a fierce countenance, man. So that horse with a terrible rider, that horse is a chariot. That horse representing a chariot with a terrible rider with the angels inside, man. That's what they saw. They didn't see no actual horse. They saw a chariot with all this glory and all this power. And they was in great fear. And they saw, because like I said, back in the ancient world, there was no flying, no airplanes, no helicopters, none of that, man. No drones. That's the day that Esau, the technology the Most High gave Esau right now. But back in the ancient world, it was none of that, man. Yeah, bro.
And adorned with a very fair covering, and he ran fiercely and smote at Heliodorus,
There you go. Heliodorus this was during the time when Heliodorus was going to rob the temple. There's plenty of times when, now Heliodorus, and if you go up further up in the scriptures, I'm saying start at the top, you will see that Heliodorus knew that because a wicked ass Israelite told him, so he knew that it was a lot of innumerable amount of gold and silver in the treasury, So he sent went to go about to rob it. So what he did was he sent messages and everything, and had everybody all scared. He was coming to rob the temple. But what happened was, what's his name again? Ananias was the high priest there. It was his name Ananias, if I'm not mistaken. But we're gonna get to it. But what Heliodorus did was he walked in there proudly, like he was going to take everything out of that. And that's when, read that right there, bro. Read it again from the top. That's what's happened. Read it again.
For there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him.
An angel with a terrible rider upon him. Now this is could have been an actual horse, with a terrible rider upon him. Because they whooped the shit out of Antiochus. I'm saying Heliodorus. So it could have been an actual horseman, a horse with a horse, and a horseman on top of that rider. Yeah, bro.
For there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering, and he ran fiercely and smote at Heliodorus with his 4 feet.
And kicked the shit out of him, knocked him off his horse, man. Yeah, bro.
And he ran fiercely and smote at Heliodorus with his 4 feet, and it seemed that he that sat upon the horse had complete harness of gold.
He was an angel in this splendor, man. The angel was in this splendor, gold, a garnet of gold, very, decked out, man, so to speak. Yeah, bro.
Moreover, two other
angels appeared right before, after that angel smoked, the first angel in the fierce contest with the harness of gold, smote Heliodorus and kicked him off his horse. He fell to the floor. Two notable angels appeared right beside him. Read.
Moreover, two other young men appeared before him.
Two other young men, young angels. Yeah, bro.
Appeared before him, notable in strength, excellent in beauty, and comely in apparel.
Excellent in beauty and comely in apparel. That means they was in a glory. And what did they do? Yeah.
Who stood by him on either side and scourged him continually and gave him many sore stripes.
Yeah. They was beating the shit out of him on each side. They was jumping him, beating the shit out of him. And you can imagine that. They beating the shit out of him. I mean, and he couldn't do nothing about it. Neither could his men. He getting his ass whipped to the point where they knocked him out. They're going to tell you that, yeah, bro.
And Heliodorus fell suddenly onto the ground and was compassed with great darkness. He got knocked out. He damn near got beat to death. Read, bro. And was compassed with great darkness, but they that were with him took him up and put him into a litter. Thus him that lately came with a great train and with all his guard into the said treasury, they carried out, being unable to help himself with his weapons.
He thought he was going to go into the temple of Jerusalem and just raid it, take what he want, do what he want. See, let me just say this right here. When the sons of Israel was right in the eyes of the Most High, hey, you cannot overthrow them. You cannot do nothing toward the men of the Lord, man. If they right in the eyes of the Most High, but if they're going off, the Lord was saying, the Lord would take their heads from him, and they open to the elements. Now any nation could come and take them down, man, and the Lord will be with it. The Lord will allow it to happen. But if they right in the eyes of the Most High, you see how the Most High protected the temple? How Yahweh protected the temple? When Heliodorus, that wicked Edomite, came in to rob, and Esau's a thief, man. That's why the first scripture was Zechariah 5:1, man. Because that chariot is going to enter to the house of the thief, man. And Esau, right now, we in the house of Esau. Esau, which is America. So the Lord is, so it shows you how Esau is a thief, man. He's a vagabond and a thief, going out through the four corners of the earth, going about pillaging, plundering, and destroying, and robbing, and stealing, and murdering. And that's what Esau does, man, because he was given the great, he was given the great sword, man. That red horse is Esau, man. And it was given the great sword to take peace from earth and destroy man, and that's Esau, man. The so-called white man. So here you have it, you have Herodotus doing the same thing back in the ancient world, man. Before Revelation was written, Esau was going about doing pillaging and destroying and that's robbing and stealing and raping and doing what he wanted, man. Yeah, bro.
Thus him lately came with a great trade and with all his God into the said treasury, they carried out, being unable to help himself with his weapons, and manifestly acknowledged the power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, the Most High.
Yeah, because that was the manifest power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. But read a little more, because I want him, when he go back to Antioch, I want you to get that point where he said what he said, man. And I made that point already, but I'm going to confirm it with the scriptures. Yeah, bro.
For he, by the hand of the Most High, was cast down and lay speechless, without all hope of life. But they praised the Lord. That had miraculously honored his own place, for the temple, which a little afore was full of fear, because
the men was afraid, because they knew that Herodotus was coming, man. So I'm trying to let this guy get in front of me. He's trying to cross over to Jersey. But read that and see, because the whole congregation was in fear, because they knew that Herodotus was coming to do a great injustice to the temple by robbing the temple. Anybody coming, he's coming with an army to destroy anybody that come. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro.
And was little afore full of fear and trouble, when the Almighty Lord appeared, was filled with joy and gladness.
When Almighty came and did what he did, the people was filled with joy and gladness, because the Lord was defending Israel. Because why? Because they was right in the eyes of the Most High. They was doing that was right in the eyes of the Most High, man. So when you right, when the sons of Israel was right in the eyes of the Most High, and they doing what they have to do, man, observing the Lord's statutes and commandments, and worshiping the Lord in truth and sincerity, the Lord's going to defend them. Yeah, bro.
Then straightway certain of Heliodorus' friends prayed. Certain of Heliodorus' friends prayed Onias that he would call upon the Most High to grant him his life, who lay ready to give up the ghost.
Onias was the high priest, and Onias was a righteous high priest, doing that which was right in the eyes of the Most High. So Heliodorus' friends went and prayed to him that he wouldn't die, because he was ready to give up the spirit, because he got the shit beat out of him, almost to the brink of death. Them angels beat the shit out of him, almost beat him to death. You know, that's so you can understand it in the lamest terms. He almost got the shit beat. He got the shit beat out of him almost to the break. He got almost beat to death. Okay, bro.
Done. So the high priest suspected, unless the king should misconceive, that some treachery had been done to Heliodorus by the Jews, offered a sacrifice for the health of the man. Now, as the high priest was making an atonement, the same young men in the same clothing appeared and stood beside Heliodorus, saying, "Give Onias the high priest great thanks, insomuch as for his sake the Lord has granted thee life."
You see, because the high priest and Onias was a righteous high priest, man. So them same angels that beat the shit out of Heliodorus, them two young angels came and told him, "You better give Ananias thanks, man, that the Lord granted your friend his life, because without Ananias granting him, we would put him to death. But for the sake of for Ananias and for no treachery to be taken that, from these Edomites, we grant him life." Yeah, bro.
Okay.
So go to the point where Ananias saying, "Well, we're back to Antiochus," you know what I'm saying? And told him what he told him. You could jump down, you know what I'm saying?
This is the book.
It's the same. It's the same.
2 Maccabees chapter 2 verse 37. And when the king Heliodorus, who might be a fit man to be sent yet once again to Jerusalem, he said, "If thou hast any enemy or traitor, send him thither, and thou shalt receive him well scourged if he escape with his life. For in that place, no doubt, there is an especial power of the Most High.
See, because Heladores told him, listen, I ain't going back over there, man. You kidding me, man? He tried to send him a second time to go and to take the treasury. He was like, man, I ain't going over there, man. If you got any traitor or any enemy that you want to put to death, send him thither. He gonna get world scorched. He gonna get put to death, man. But I ain't going over there, man. And him and Androsis fell out. You can read it again, bro. Read it.
You can. For he that dwelleth in heaven had his eye on that place and defended it, and he beat it and destroyed them that come to hurt it.
Because, like I said earlier, if the men of Israel, the sons of Israel, are right with the laws of with the eyes of the Most High, any nation that try to come up against Israel, they're gonna get put down, man. The Lord's gonna destroy them, you know. But if Israel is wicked in the eyes of the Most High, the Lord's going to take that hedge and allow Esau to do what he do, or any other nation to do what he do. And that's why we're in captivity to this day. The Lord allowed Esau to do what he did to us, man. But Esau furthered the affliction, man. But guess what? You know, just like Heladores said, if you have any enemy or traitor, send them thither, and they're going to be world scorched. Yeah, read it again, Brother Kashan, before we close it out.
Can. If thou hast any enemy or traitor, send him thither, and thou shalt receive him well scourged, if he escape with his life. For in that place, no doubt, there is an especial power of the Most High.
The Lord have his eyes upon that land, man. That's his land, Jerusalem. So, you know, Esau is a thief. I brought this out to bring it because, you know, them chariots that Esau is seeing, you know, that's a curse upon Esau and the rest of the nations and 2/3 of our own people, because them same chariots go into the house of the thief. And Esau is a thief, man. And going back to how he tried to rob the treasury on numerous occasions, one time with Heladores, and even in the sacking of Jerusalem, you know, then the time of the Greek, and then the time of 70 AD. They stole, raped, robbed, and murdered, man. Like I stated earlier, how did they had the money to fund the Colosseum? Because they sacked Jerusalem. So I hope this lesson was edifying. I'm gonna give all praises once again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Bakar Kudash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.
Shalom.